Hey friends, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be working in my memory junk journal. I thought it'd be fun to share how I prep my pages before I started hearing the ephemera and photos. So here's what it looks like when I get the background all taken care of. I have some stamping with a bubble wrap block, some stenciling, and some tissue paper. So since I'm at the end of this one, I'm going to start this one. But I'm not a huge fan of this craft paper, so I thought I would go ahead and go over all of it with some white gesso to kind of just give it a white background, and I thought it would give it a lot of interest. So I'm going to go ahead and work on getting the paint on there, the gesso on there, and then I'm going to come back through and I'll do some stamping, and then I'll come back through again and I'll do some tissue paper. So let's get started. So I want to point out one thing that I'm using is I cut wax paper down to size so I can put them between the pages just in case they aren't completely dry when I go to move to the next step or the next page. All right, well, I like that. I like the way this is looking. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a few pages and then I'll come back and show you the next step. Okay, so it's all painted up, gessoed up, all the way to the end. I thought I might as well just go ahead and, it's such a messy process, I thought I'd go ahead and just get the whole thing done. But just so you know, as far as time saving, I have one of these that I got at a craft store, super inexpensive. They probably sell them at dollar stores or whatever. And I just prop it in there. Whoa. Okay, first let's do this. Okay, so I prop it in there, and then I just turn this on there. Well, I have it a little bit farther away, and I turn it on, and it can dry, and then I go back, and it just saves a little time. I don't have to stand there and hold that over that to get it all dry. So it took about an hour and a half, but worth it in the long run because I think I'm going to probably have, it looks like I may get 3 months worth into this one. It was a traveler's notebook insert that I bought years ago, and I just am not one to throw things away if I think I can recycle it somehow, so that's what I did. So a couple of pages stuck together, but you know what, I like them kind of messy. I use so many elements that have structure to them that are cut, that it's nice to have this kind of fun, funky randomness in the background. So all right, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start doing the bubble wrap stamp, and this is what that looks like. It's just a block with here's some masking tape and just some bubble wrap. This one probably could use some new bubble wrap. It's kind of an older stamp of mine, but I'm lazy. What can I say? So what I like to do though is, instead of, let's pick a color. Let's see if this one's open. Yeah. So what I like to do, instead of dunking the stamp in there and getting it all gooed up, because then you get all this, it just takes longer for it to dry on the page, and I don't have the patience to wait for that kind of thing. So what I do is I usually use my finger and just kind of push it around on there, and it comes out just right. There. And then that'll just take a little while to dry, especially if I'm going to use my little dryer over here. But if I just dunk it in there, it just gets so globby, then it's going to take 2 to 3 times longer for it to dry. So I'm going to go ahead, and what I do usually is I'll do one color because I've already got it out, and then I'll skip a few pages and do the color there, and then just kind of go through it with that one color, and then clean up my clean my area, and then start with a new color. That way I'm not mixing and it's not taking too long. So all right, well, I'm going to get started. Okay, so I've gone through and done several of the pages. Unfortunately, I forgot in the very beginning to put my tissue paper down, but I kind of saved the day and got it taken care of. A couple little boo-boos, but that's okay. But right here I have a little bit of this green left, and I'm not a big fan of just wasting paint, paper, whatever. So what I thought I would do is go ahead and use that with a jar and just do some rings on some of these pages before I do the bubble wrap, just to give it a little bit more interest. There. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing throughout the pages and use that paint up. Okay, well, I'm back. So this did take quite a bit of time. So yeah, to dry and all that, but it's worth it. Because now I've got 32 page spreads in here, and that'll probably take care of 3 to 4 months of memory keeping. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put some tissue paper on there. And on my last one I did, you know, some colorful, I found some really beautiful colorful tissue paper that I wanted to use, but I thought it'd be fun to do some black and white just for some contrast. And this is a napkin, and I thought I'd go ahead and kind of show you how I do that. I'm sure you may have seen this before, but what I do is I tear off a corner, and that kind of brings it apart a little bit. And this is 3-ply, so you want to make sure that you get all 3, because if you don't get all 3, you'll get one of these layers in there, and then it's just a mess, and it doesn't do what you want to do, which is pop the paint and the color from underneath through it. And then sometimes I'll keep these around for cleanup. I don't necessarily just automatically recycle them before I use them, so they can be pretty handy, these liners. And then what I'll do is I'll just tear. I like the kind of organic torn look on the edges. And what I use to adhere the tissue is matte medium. I like Liquitex, it's my favorite because it's just really smooth. And then you want to make sure that you have a soft brush. This one isn't as soft, but it might work. If it doesn't, I'll just go get a different brush. Just brush it on. Lay the piece down, hopefully straight. There we go. That's straight enough there. And then kind of gently brush it back on there. Get some more matte medium, go over the top, because that's what makes it, that last step of getting a little bit more matte medium on there is what gets it kind of transparent on there. Kind of wondering if I'm getting some. There we are. Okay. Now the other side. Yeah, this is a nice soft brush. It's working beautifully. See how you can start to see the background? And then when it dries, it'll be nice and clear. Okay, so I'm going to just keep going. Of course I've got to blow dry this, and you know, I'm going to move along, and then I'll show you how far I've gotten with it. Okay, so I've done several pages, and as you can see, because this isn't the, the best quality paper for mixed media, but I don't usually let that stop me, it is all wrinkly and crinkly, because that matte medium, well, even the paint made it pretty wrinkly. But while if you touch it and it's not tacky, and you can feel that it is still just a tad damp, what I like to do is to go ahead and make sure that they're nice and, at least reasonably dry. Like I said, not tacky. And then put the wax, make sure the wax paper is in between each layer. And then close it up. And sandwich it, probably only need one of those, and then sandwich it between the table and something hard, and then find something heavy to go on top and let that set there for a while. And sometimes those pages will they'll get a little bit straightened out, make it kind of a little nicer look. But they'll probably get straightened out when I'm putting all the different layers on it anyway, but those edges sometimes can be a little bit crinkly. Okay, so I took it out from underneath the heavy object, and just to let you know, I did go ahead and replace the original wax paper with some drier wax paper, just to make sure, because sometimes I won't completely dry these and then they'll wrinkle back up, and I'm sure that's not going to be too big of an issue. Everything seems to be looking pretty good here. So yeah, here's the pages. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the memory keeping part of it. I like to keep the first page as I'll put pockets and kind of decor, just kind of introduce the memory journal, and then I'll start on this page right here. Well, actually, this page right here for my first page spread. I kind of want to point something out here, though. Do you see that? This is kind of some kind of greasy spots, and I believe that was from drying it with the dryer, and it was maybe some of the wax that came from this paper. I just want to point that out. It doesn't bother me, but it may be an issue for you if that happens. So just kind of be careful with that, or ignore it like I do and move on. So yeah, so I'm going to get started on my first page in my new memory journal. So what I have here is some scraps from making journals that are a good size for a traveler's notebook style journal. And so I thought it'd be fun just to have the size I needed right here on hand, instead of rifling through my usual and doing a lot of cutting and all that kind of thing. So here's some photos of some memories that I wanted to kind of put in there. Just stuff that you wouldn't normally put in a photo album, say. My grandson playing with some toys in the back of my car. I had done some mowing at our other house, and I took a picture to show my husband, and just me hanging out with my dog saying hello to my husband. And then they have the date and time stamp on there, so when you're putting it on there, you're putting them on in order. So super easy. Okay, so I grabbed a few things in my arsenal that I thought would be fun to use to decorate. I've got some tags and tickets, Vicki Boutin and Amy Tan embellishments, phrase pieces, and just some labels and stickers I thought would be kind of fun. For some reason I've started really liking these little, what do they call them, geo spots or something like that. They're fun. These are mostly, I think, yeah, I cut these out of some paper that I bought, some Amy Tan paper, and I kept it all in one. I just decided to keep it all in one spot. And then here's some washi from several years ago, but it's super cute. I love it. And I felt like some of it really kind of brought out the colors I already have in this page spread. So I thought it'd be fun. Here's a flower I cut out of a little piece like that, and I never used, but it's got that cute orange in there. I know I'm covering up a lot of my painting, but little spots will pop out here and there. It'll be fun. So here, in this picture, as you can see, just kind of a side note, my daughter was in the store shopping, and I had purchased some fun toys for my grandson, and so he's wearing a hard hat and he's playing with blocks and eating Jelly Bellies, and within 15 to 20 minutes I was like, I had to text my daughter and say, help, I'm stuck in a car with a 3-year-old jacked up on jelly beans, help. It was hilarious, so I had to take a picture of that. It was so fun. Okay, there you have it. Kind of a Amy Tangerine page, but I'm happy with it. Lots of color. This is going to be a fun journal, I think. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just go ahead and I'll keep moving along in here, but I'll put those on future videos. So, because this one got pretty long. So yeah, well, once again, thank you so much for visiting my channel. I hope you like this this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're interested in seeing more of my videos, please hit the subscribe button. And thank you, and have a great day. Bye-bye.